Thanks for joining us. I'm China Green. We begin our noon newscast with breaking news. Former Southridge and Mountainside standout Cameron Brink is out of the Olympics after tearing her ACL. The Los Angeles Sparks confirmed the news just a short time ago. Brink was injured just about 4 minutes into last night's game against Connecticut Sun. She was moving to the basket when her left knee, seemed to just give out. You saw it right there. She had to be helped to the locker room. Brink was set to represent the U.S. in the 3x3 squad. She was the number 2 overall pick in this year's WNBA draft and has already made a big impact for the LA Sparks. Thousands of local nurses from 6 Providence hospitals are back on the picket lines for a second day of what they're calling the largest nurses strike in Oregon history. The strike is set to last 3 days. The Oregon Nurses Association is the union representing more than 3,000 nurses at 6 Oregon hospitals. The nurses say that they want better health benefits that are more in line with other area hospitals and competitive wages. On the wage front, Providence has said that they have offered a double-digit raise over the life of a contract. One nurse we spoke to who's been working with Providence since 2011 tells us they want safe staffing levels with a better nurse-to-patient ratio.
Not a lot of good changes. The way that they've treated their employees has really gone downhill. And just like a teacher might struggle to notice a student that's really struggling in their classroom if they have too many students there, a nurse would struggle to find those finer points of what might be happening with a patient that they're starting to decline if they're too busy with too many patients. In order to provide excellent care, we need to have decent nurse-to-patient ratios.
The hospital is still open and business as usual. That's because Providence brought in replacement workers to fill in during the strike. The strike ends tomorrow, but the contract for replacement workers ends Sunday, so nurses on strike may not be able to go back to work right away. Take a look at this new video Portland Fire posted on Instagram of that big propane fire on I-5. A trailer filled with propane tanks exploded, causing a big mess on the interstate. Portland police tell us that they're in contact with the trailer company and are making arrangements to speak to the driver at a later date. Now, at this point, police say they believe that there was a mechanical issue and they don't believe that the driver did anything wrong. But that fire shut down the northbound lanes of the freeway near the Swan Island exit in North Portland for 12 hours. Crews were able to reopen the highway around 5 o'clock last night. And be sure to stay with KGW as we bring you all the updates on this story. And now to a developing story in the Dalles where police shot and killed a man who they say stole a tow truck and rammed into a patrol car. Officers say they first spotted the tow truck dragging a cable in a Home Depot parking lot, but when they attempted to stop the driver, he took off. After a short chase, the suspect rammed into a patrol car, tried to run into other police vehicles as well. That's when authorities say 2 Wasco County Sheriff's deputies and a Dalles police officer opened fire.
The officers on scene feared for their safety and the safety of their colleagues on scene and made the decision to fire.
The man was taken to the hospital where he later died. The officers who fired the shots are now on paid leave while the shooting is under investigation. We are tracking the largest wildfire in Washington right now. The Pioneer Fire is burning near Lake Chelan. It's grown to more than 3,800 acres. No containment so far this afternoon. The fire is now more than 10 times its size since last week, and officials think that it could smolder all summer long. Some nearby residents are under level 3 go now and level 2 be prepared evacuation orders. And before you know it, we're going to be talking about heat waves and wildfire dangers here in Oregon. But for now, we are drought free across the entire state. That's because late spring snow in the mountains and record-breaking rainfall in Portland earlier this month has helped wipe out those drought conditions. But the outlook isn't quite as good for Washington.
Most of the concern we've got is going to be in the Washington area where they had a pretty early start to fire activity given a minimal snowpack compared to Oregon.
Remember, just because we're out of a drought doesn't mean that we won't see any fires this summer. Rod Hill had a lot to do with looking at this information as well.
Well, keep in mind, weather is really only a part of the wildfire outlook story. There's never any way you can tell, really. Are we going to have a number of lightning outbreaks or not? Of course, that would naturally start fires. Are humans going to, unfortunately, start a number of fires, either accidentally or intentionally or not? You can't tell. But the weather, we can tell you where we're at, and that does play a role. So this is a map to piggyback off of the one you just saw. And this is the outlook all the way through August 31. And notice all but just a sliver of the Columbia Basin here in Oregon, no colorization. That means we are projected, get this, to be free of drought conditions, no drought, all the way through the end of August, joining our neighbors in California and for the most part joining our neighbors down in Nevada. Now, as China mentioned, not as great of news up in Washington, where much of the state, not the case right now, but in the coming months, much of Washington is projected to enter into at least a moderate drought status. Again, we had much more snow in the Oregon Cascades this past winter than what we saw in the Washington Cascades. That's one of the reasons for that. All right, summer starts tomorrow. I know you know that. So we finished off May just a little cooler than normal. June's on track to be pretty close to normal. Both months have had decent rainfall. July, I'm projecting to be 1 to 2 above normal. August, maybe 3 above normal. August is the best chance, I think, this particular summer cycle for us to go nuts and maybe have a run of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 90-degree days. I think there's a chance we could hold the total of 90-degree days of summer in Portland under 20, which is something we don't do all that often anymore, so that would be good news. Beautiful day. It's 73. I'll have your forecast in the summer coming up.
90 degrees. It seems like we were just in January. Rod, thank you. In an update, crews have started dismantling one of the final remnants of the 2020 protests, the fencing that surrounded downtown Portland's federal courthouse for the last 4 years. Alma McCarty gives us a look at what's gone up in its place.
In downtown Portland, fencing outside the federal courthouse comes down, piece by piece. Passers-by told us off camera this marked progress, a move that made them feel optimistic.
I think that's a really good thing that they're taking it down.
Isabella Shadburn, however, believes they should have never gone up. She took part in the social justice protests in 2020.
Overall, I think that the movement and what people were trying to do matters a lot more than, that stuff.
Federal officials reported $1.6 million in damages during the protests to the Marco Hatfield U.S. Courthouse. Security fencing here first came down in early 2021, but within days it went right back up when demonstrators broke more windows and set fires. This time around, new security measures are in place. Stainless steel airplane hangar-like doors installed on the west side of the building, which can be lowered to protect the front of it. Some view hardening these court facilities as a necessary step, while others find it unsettling.
Dystopian, yes. Feels very dystopian.